Welcome to Literarily Wasted. My name is Talia.
And I'm Christy.
And I'm Adam.
And I'm Lucas. And Adam's
He's
running
making
around.
a very, very dramatic entrance because of his Christmas
I don't want to
sweater.
cross the
So
camera there.
everybody.
Hi.
There's Adam.
Everybody chime in and tell him how awesome his Christmas sweater
Look,
is.
I'll stand up. Look.
Okay.
Look at this. There it is.
Okay.
He's been wearing it for 4 days in a row.
It's fuzzy.
All right.
Feels good. Thank you for liking it.
That's very presumptuous.
It is amazing.
Hi, Jean. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Kelly. Hi,
All right,
Jan.
let me
Hi,
pull up
Matt.
your comments.
Hi, Victoria. Hi, Julie. Hi, Vicky again. Oh, she said, a ghost.
Jean says, "Oh man, that sweater."
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
man.
right. Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, what are we
So-
doing
Oh,
today?
man. I don't know. What
Tonight-
are we doing?
We are talking about the Umbrella Academy Apocalypse Suite.
Sweet.
No, boo.
Okay, so I think we might have some strong opinions on this one.
Do we want to do like the structure that we've
Yeah.
been doing before? Like, let's
Yes.
talk about what we liked about it. You go.
What I liked about it,
Yeah. I'm not seeing anybody's comments.
I'm gonna steal your thing.
What? This is what I get for talking to her beforehand.
But
Fine.
Too late. Chrissy, go.
the humor in this was pretty great. Particularly at the end of every issue, they had like a random little note thing, and those were so funny to me. Like after the carnival section, they had stats on deaths at carnivals, and that was just hysterical. And then there was one where they had a bunch of like random numbers, and then the end of the paragraph they're like, and these have nothing to do with each other. I really enjoyed
There's
that.
a riddle. Did you
And
see the
oh
riddle
yeah,
too?
there was a
Yeah,
riddle. I was looking for them, and I also actually really loved the foreword and the afterword. So I mean, there was a lot in this. I watched the show. This is different than the show in a lot of ways that I was not expecting.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that. But yeah, Talia, what did you like? You got to pick something.
Yeah, you gotta pull it out.
I was looking for the thing that you were talking about because I think I
We
missed
can
some
skip
of
to
them.
Adam if we want.
Yeah, can you just go to Adam for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so since Christy plagiarized me, I've also watched the TV show. I like, again, the humor. It really got to me. There was a lot of like really, it's a lot funnier than the show. The show has its like quirkiness, but this one was just like over the top comedy.
Well, and
And-
you had mentioned specifically the Terminauts.
Oh, the Terminauts, the way they talked, those little robots with the letters on them, was hilarious. Like every time they said something, it was, I mean, I can't.
I look shock, amazement.
Yeah. It was so funny. I think that the way the comic book, the way the graphic novel was written, it oozes sort of this nice sense of humor that I really appreciated. Story-wise, I'll say that I appreciated how fast it moved.
It did
and we'll
move
talk about
very
that later
fast.
too.
Yeah,
but,
we will.
Having watched the show first, having the show being like my introduction to the Umbrella Academy, going to the comic book and having it being like just overtly like there are aliens and like bizarre robot, like it's very, very comic booky.
Well, there was the steampunk, the zombie robot Eiffel.
Yeah. The Eiffel
why?
Tower is like sentient and it has the zombie of Gustav Eiffel or
Zombie
whatever.
robot.
Yeah, zombie robot. Like that, like right away you're like, this is ridiculous.
Yes.
But I appreciated that about it. Okay. Did you find something you like?
I like the concept art in the back when when they show like the initial drawings and like the different like where they started and where it was going and all that stuff. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, the evolution.
Also, this page, I thought this was funny. There's all the art and then just this one page where it just says boom. That part made me laugh.
I think that's evocative of the sense of humor of the whole book, which
Yeah.
I appreciated a lot. Again, Lucas.
I did like the intro into each of the not episodes or volumes, but
The issues.
Issues,
Yeah.
yeah, into each issue. it was just it was kind of clever on how it was written, goofy. It did not take itself too seriously, and I did like how they ended it. So I liked the start, and I liked the end.
Oh, something else that I really like. I love the art for each issue. Like the
They got a
one
different artist
piece of art that's different than the rest of like in each issue. I just thought those were so cool.
It's like an alternate cover art or something.
Yeah, and then the actual, I guess, is this cover art? Like where it shows you the title of the issue? Like, I love those, the spreads,
Oh, the
too.
title of the issue, the best one for me was when they're talking to Agnes, and
And the coffee.
it's just like, thanks for the coffee.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
No, there was a lot of stuff like that I appreciated.
Yeah.
in
Hey,
there.
Matt Scalisi, who wants to know if I hurt my back reaching that hard for something I liked. No, I hurt my back because I'm in my 30s. And that's just what happens now.
Oh, Jean on YouTube said, I like that it was over.
Oh,
See, okay.
all right. Now let's get to that.
Okay.
I mean, we can. What didn't you like about?
Talia, why
this
don't you
book?
start with this one?
Okay, so here's the thing, though. It's not that I didn't like it. It's not. There's nothing in here that I like strongly disliked. I just felt really meh about the whole thing. Nothing really sucked me in. Nothing made me super excited. There wasn't anything that I was like, oh, I super don't like that, except for that one part, which I'll get to later. But like for the most part, the whole thing was kind of like, okay. Like the art is obviously like, it's incredible to me that people are capable of this. Yeah. I think that is mind blowing considering I still draw stick figures. But I couldn't get into it. I didn't even really know what was going on until chapter 3. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have to mention this. Justin, who's sitting right over there, said my favorite panel was the one where the conductor of the orchestra looked so gleefully expectant right before the white violin obliterated him with a note. It's just like,
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Yeah.
She sliced him
Anyway.
in half with music.
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's cool, like music, but like murdery I don't know. I don't get it. I didn't get it.
It did
It made
move.
me feel really dumb.
It did move way, way too fast, in my opinion. Like, and they left a ton of stuff, a ton of story, and a ton of background just completely unsaid and untouched, and that really bugged me.
So are the strings going up her butt? That also bugged me when I was looking at this picture.
She's part violin. I don't know if y'all can see it.
I
Well,
don't think
it's
the
on the
strings
cover.
go all the way around.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they wrap around.
So then is she flat on the back like a violin? So she doesn't have a butt
You should
crack.
probably
I think you're
not
overthinking it.
think about it.
It's a
this
comic
hard.
book.
I can't help it. I overthought this whole thing and I found it so confusing.
And you kind of mentioned the art style. It took me a little while to get used to it because I feel like everybody's faces kind of look the same and everybody's hair kind of looked the same, and I was having a really hard time telling the different characters apart. And then, yeah, also that it moved really, really fast, and it felt really like ADD kind of. Like we had so many different little storylines that didn't connect at all.
There was an extra kid, and then there was like, look, there's all these kids, and then the next chapter, they're like, here's a statue of the dead one.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
When? Where?
Yeah,
Well-
what happened to that one where it was like this
It wasn't in here,
thing
unless it was in a secret
coming out
little
of its
picture that I
stomach?
The
didn't see.
horror.
He's
Yeah.
the horror.
Yeah. So, still talking about what we didn't like. I'm going to
Okay,
piggyback
sorry.
on that stuff because I think one of the major, like, I watched the show again, and like that gave me insight into who these people were. But if
Yeah.
I had not watched this show, there is like negative exposition in this
Yeah.
like comic book. Like, it tells you a little bit about what happened in the beginning with the like weird wrestling move, and then all of a sudden everybody started having babies, and like,
Oh, yeah, I forgot. What?
but like, you know, in terms of who these people are, you really just are expected to learn about them through like these little,
Yeah.
you know, like you don't know anything about them, and like, you know, I know, in knowing who Klaus or the Seance was in the TV show, I kind of expected that, and then like they really don't, like he's one of the, maybe he's like the one that the most, they don't tell you like what he does. Like I hadn't, throughout the whole novel, I was like, what does he do?
Yeah, you just kind of pick up like part of his traits or part of his powers as you go.
Turns out he can do a lot. Thank you, Chris, for loving my sweater. But yeah, like there was no exposition. So if I had come into this blind, I would have been like Talia, like what is happening till chapter 3? You're like, I don't know what's going on. It moves so fast, and just gloss over all these characters who, you know, like they're going through some stuff.
And I think it really helped to know who everybody is from watching the first season already, but I also think it hurt my understanding and my enjoyment of the comic because I had watched the season and I knew what to expect, and I did not get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I hadn't watched the show first, but now it did make me want to watch the show.
You need to.
Like, so I do want to watch it, but I'm glad I didn't watch it before reading
The
this.
show takes itself much more seriously. We can get into like,
And it explains a lot more, even though they don't like over-explain anything. There's still stuff that's like left out.
but but you know, like these characters have very interesting relationships that just aren't explained.
Didn't like it. Didn't like that part.
Okay, so just for those out there that are thinking like, wow, this is very incestuous.
Oh.
They're not actually brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They're
It
all
doesn't-
like adopted.
Ew, no.
But still, like, you know, like
They were raised as siblings technically, and they even called what's his name, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then but you know, you know, like Rumor and Spaceboy are kissing on the roof, and then when he takes her to the hospital because her throat got slashed, he's like, my sister needs help, and I'm like,
Yes, right. Thank you. I saw that part and I was like, ew. If your gut reaction is to call this person your sibling, no. Don't make out on a rooftop. It's weird and it's gross.
But I don't think that's Spaceboy's fault at all. She used her
rumored
little
him, yeah.
power. She's like, I heard a rumor that you've had a crush on me forever.
You've wanted to
Is
catch
that-
me. So-
Okay,
Yeah.
can
Wait,
we
is that
stop
her
right
power?
there?
Yes.
What the hell? This was. All right, I gotta say some piece too. I had zero investment in any of these characters.
Yeah.
I
No,
could
I
care
like the
less.
monkey.
I like Pogo.
And then
what
his brain
happened?
exploded. That's not fair.
I was shocked
So
at that.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, are you gonna use your power? And I was like,
That's demonical.
what even is this lady's power?
Her power is whenever she
Don't
says, I heard a
care.
rumor, and then blank.
And
like,
it makes it true?
It's influential. Like you do the thing.
But
or
it also
whatever.
works on technology, according to the short stories, which is something I was
Justice for
not
Pogo.
expecting.
So wait. So is that information that you got from the show? Because
Yeah.
I did not get that from this.
we went going it. We knew
Okay.
that.
Well,
from the
remember
show.
when she like they're at the Eiffel Tower and she's like, I heard a rumor that this place is having like a sale, and everybody like
immediately
runs
leaves.
away.
Yeah,
like,
but
I
didn't-
thought everyone was just stupid. I thought it was like herd mentality, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, sale, yeah."
I did.
I can see how you.
I did not get that
think that.
at all. I
But see, we watched the show, so we knew what her.
Yeah.
her
Well,
power
I
had
didn't.
no
So
clue.
my thing is, I didn't even know some of the characters' names until I looked at the
You're not
concept
supposed
art.
to.
But how am I supposed to give a crap about them though?
You're supposed to know their numbers and you're supposed to know their code names
Well, I don't
for the
know.
most part.
But I
No.
didn't even know that. Like it was like, okay, so this is Jorge, and he's number 8, and you know, it's like,
No,
and his
there's
power
5,
is belching.
6, 7.
7.
I know. I'm just saying.
And but the thing that was confusing to me were the code names. Diego is Kraken,
Thank you.
and the horror is the one with the tentacle stuff. And you
That
would think
makes
that
no
like
sense.
Kraken would be the tentacle.
Yes.
Well,
Oh,
actually,
see, I thought the tentacle thing was a monster because, of course,
No,
they didn't
that's the
explain
dead
that at
one.
all.
but
And his name's not the Kraken.
I
Sorry.
read that his power is that he can like summon monsters. So it might be. I mean, that makes a little more sense for the horror. But all we ever see of him is the tentacles.
Yeah.
In like the 2 times we saw him.
Yeah.
I also don't understand. Let's go.
Oh wait,
Let's start
first,
at the very beginning.
Lucas, did you have anything else about what you didn't like?
Oh, I have so many things. This was one that I actually like made a sticky note on.
You made notes?
I wrote notes. Yeah.
I'm so
And
impressed.
so one of my notes is wouldn't have picked up the second issue. I would have stopped if this were not.
Wait, we didn't pick up the second.
Well, I mean, if
Well,
if
after
it had
this.
if it had been
Oh.
single issues, 22
okay.
pages or whatever, I would have been like, no, thanks. So I mean, a good thing on them that it's a. What do you call that? Is a compendium or what is that?
They're just volumes, I
It's a
think.
volume 1. Yeah, I did not. Yeah, I just said slow and weird start. No emotional tie with anyone. I thought the villains were lame.
Who's the villain?
There were so
the
many.
robot
Well,
thing.
there were
There were
so
a
many,
few.
but like again, it was like 2 pages, and it was like, oh, okay, this guy's kind of he's just exploded.
I do wish they had drawn out more things. Like, because I feel like we got 6 villains, and really this whole book should have been like 1 or 2 of them.
Basically, you're saying, Gerard, stick to My Chemical Romance.
No, not even that.
Oh,
You know
that
what?
sounds mean.
Lucas said he won't be moving on, but I'm going to read the next one. Like, I'm excited
I'd like to
about
read
it.
the next one.
I want to read the next one just because I'm hoping to get more answers because I don't like not knowing and I don't understand. And speaking of things that I don't understand, so some wrestler just like hit an octopus with his elbow and then like a bunch of random babies popped out.
I don't
all
think
over
those
the
are
world?
related. They just happen at the same time.
Then why is it in the story?
Because it's crazy.
But they also want to introduce that this is a version of Earth that there are aliens and there's
and
stuff
there's
out in
chimpanzee
space.
police
Yeah.
officers.
Yeah,
There were a lot of
I thought
chimpanzees.
Pogo was special, and then there were other apes.
Yeah.
But
Also,
you know,
how'd this one get
Hargreaves
so
was
big?
he was a sort of a
Did they not explain that?
foremost scientist on like chimpanzee things. As when number 5 looked through the monocle and saw like horrible things happening in the lab. There was something there.
The monocle power was fascinating
Yeah, that
to
was
me.
cool. But then it only got such limited play.
Yeah.
But
like
I
the
think
cool,
we'll get more of it.
yeah, the cool parts that I was like, oh, that's cool, got such limited play that I was like, ah, and then it's just back to not caring about these characters at all.
I feel like I'm discussing a book that I haven't read. It's literally like someone took a novel and then made some doodles based on the novel, and they're like, tell me what you think this book is based, like what this book is about, based on my incredible art. Gabriel Ba, I hope you're not watching. Your art is incredible. I feel like I'm only getting like a snippet of each chapter of
Yeah.
the actual story.
so maybe we should do
So
this.
it's hard for me to follow.
Maybe we should just, to recap for everybody and for ourselves, let's just talk through like what
We
happens
can go
in
issue to issue.
can't.
the book.
I don't know what happened.
Well, okay, I actually made a list.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I feel like I got it. I wasn't like,
There were a lot of things.
yeah, there were a lot of things.
All right, tell us,
Well-
babies.
Babies. So, what, 40-something women who...
43, someone said.
43 had no signs of being pregnant, just randomly popped out babies.
Let's talk about things that are not cool. That sounds terrible. The little doodle, and all you see is a tiny little doodle of some ankles sticking out, and then the baby just like on like the subway. No.
But I also think that's such an interesting concept.
Ow!
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. But like, weird. I want to know more. I want to know why that happened. And I want to know,
Are those women okay?
do all 43 of the kids have powers? And then they said the ones who survived, like a bunch of them were either abandoned or put up for adoption, and then some of them didn't make it. Like, that's the
there
whole
other
story is fast. I don't know. I hope so.
See,
I hope we get that
find out.
later.
That's something
Read the
you
second
think
one.
would come back.
I hope
later
it
on.
does. I really want it to.
But then old Hargreaves comes along, who is an alien.
Who is an alien? Yeah, we see his mask. Did you not see it? I'll show you.
Help
Reginald
me.
Hargreaves.
This
Look, so-
is like studying for a test I did not volunteer to
They're
take.
explaining all the things that he did, and then they say that he's
Oh,
a
that's
space
right.
alien.
No, I remember that.
And there's
Ew!
his mask.
What's his face look like?
You don't know.
We don't know.
I hate it.
I bet he's not human though.
I hate not knowing. This is no.
But maybe we'll get it in one of the next volumes.
See, I think it's fascinating.
Even
I
though
think
he's-
that he's like laying a lot of groundwork. The problem is he doesn't pay off enough of it. He leaves too many
Yeah.
things that are like,
There's so much
you'll find out,
potential.
you'll find out, but then like you just like give us this is the first like introduction to your world. Like maybe later give us a you'll find out and give us more like information early on. But so Reginald Hargreaves comes along
Yes.
and he adopts 7 of the he can only find 7 and he's
Are they born with masks
No.
on?
No, they
so he
just have
just
to wear
puts
masks.
masks on babies.
forms the
That's
Umbrella
gross.
Academy.
Growing them as superheroes.
Yeah, to save the world. That's why he started this whole thing. They're like the X-Men, but like dysfunctional. More dysfunctional. than the
I was like,
X-Men.
more dysfunctional because they're babies that all have band-aids on their tummies for some reason.
Those for the cord.
You don't put band-aids on them.
They do in this.
Yeah, in this
No, but I
world
meant in real
where
life.
there are chimpanzee police officers, they use Band-Aids
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
umbilical cords.
Yeah. Well, and then he starts raising them and training them.
Yeah, he's the Professor X
Yeah.
of the world. But he's like really
Instead
strict.
of a wheelchair, he has an eyeglass.
And the first taste of like Umbrella Academy
Is when they're 10.
teamwork is when the Eiffel Tower is in trouble.
Yeah.
And they have to save the Eiffel Tower,
Or save the people? I don't know.
or save the people from the Eiffel Tower, which starts like throwing people off of it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was
And so
not a cute drawing.
So then
the splatter marks.
they save the day, except for Vanya, who is told she's not special. Is that where you find out she's not special?
Yes.
Yeah, she's
There's just nothing special about you. Sorry, I was looking over your shoulder.
So hurtful.
Yeah, he's like, go play your violin. There's nothing special about you. So they save the day, and they all get ice cream, and they're like, yay, from zombie Gustav Eiffel.
Zombie robot. Gustav
Zombie
Eiffel.
robot, yeah.
Which is just
Maudit
amazing.
enfant.
It's just amazing. Speaks all in
Weird.
French, of course.
Okay.
Okay, so then we fast forward to the moon,
Yes.
where number one, Space Boy, who has, we find out through like little newspaper clippings that something bad happened to him, and he got his body replaced with
Oh, do we find that there?
I think you see it
Yeah,
in,
that's also where we find out that the horror is dead, because there's a newspaper
Yeah.
clipping with that headline behind him
You have
in one
that?
of
Yes.
those scenes.
The
Thing-
Jennifer incident. What is that?
Oh,
That's
who
also on the
knows?
wall.
Who knows?
I don't know, but
Yes, a space
Well-
boy critically injured.
And he gets a call to come back to Earth because Hargreaves has died.
yeah, Reginald is dead.
I want to point out his robot servant on the moon is named Ben.
Oh, that's the name of the horror.
That's the name of the
horror's real
horror.
name.
He named the robot after his brother?
I have no idea.
That's
Sounds
so
like he did.
sad. Why is he on the moon?
He's on the moon because he's like the first line of defense
Yeah.
against like
Galactic Space
alien
Watch is
invade-
kind of
yeah,
what I
Yeah,
he's
took
like
it as.
he's like neighborhood watch for Earth, I guess.
basically.
Sounds like a
So then
crappy
everyone
job.
gets together for Hargreaves' funeral except for Vanya.
Except for Vanya, who's just off on her own. Like she gets
She's getting the call for the audition.
weird phone call
Yes.
to come audition from the Masked Man.
Which she does the audition and then turns down the ending of the world.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean they were pretty explicit about what they
They weren't hiding anything.
what they wanted to do, and that was also pretty funny.
That
What
was
it?
funny.
He's like, the answer that all humanity has been asking for a long time was like, how do I mass murder a bunch of people?
That was hilarious.
And he's like, that's chump change. We figured it out.
Yeah, we've answered the question.
We just need you to play your violin. She's like, don't think so.
Yeah. And then the Terminats show up at the carnival because all of the siblings are in the same area.
Right. So there was apparently there was a Dr. Terminus or something like that.
Terminal.
Terminal
it
who
was like a page.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was like a page.
yeah, and he was like, I'll get you. He had a rumor tied up or something, right?
Yes.
And they were like, he was like, when you all come together, my robots will. That was all the explanation you got
Yes.
from that. So then the Terminats come and they like blow up a carnival.
Yes. Which I think 9 kids actually died.
Yeah, they talked about how they like exploded some children or something.
Yeah. I love how gleefully they were like, this is the perfect place. There's so many people and there will be so many casualties. Let's do it here.
Yay! I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we backtrack a little bit and
Yeah.
talk about what the crap the mom thing is?
The what?
Do we know what the
Oh.
mom is?
Not according to this comic, but you should watch the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gives you a little more answers.
Yeah, the show. Yeah.
Is it unsatisfying?
No, it's
actually.
the show gives you a lot of payoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we have the Terminal
Continue.
flashback, where
Yeah.
he had captured Rumor. And Terminal had like an illness, and he created like a robot that can feed on the energy of like people. So he was like murdering people to feed to the robot that was keeping
Oh
him alive.
yeah.
Wait, what?
He had like a thing like on his chest, and it was either going to eat him or
Oh, that's
or
right.
eat the people
Okay.
that he murders.
Yes.
Or
Nope.
something.
I remember.
Yeah.
And then, so Vanya goes back to the carnival,
While they're all like battling these.
like in the middle of the battle, to tell her siblings that there's a crazy orchestra that's trying to end the world. But
Yeah.
she runs into Diego
or the Kraken.
The Kraken.
Who's not the tentacle guy?
Not the
Not
tentacle
the
guy.
tentacle.
So can I stop there? What are these people's powers exactly?
okay, we
What
can
is
do
that
that.
guy? I saw him throw a knife
I
and
think
get
so.
beat up.
I can only tell you based on what the show does because
'Cause
I think
they're
I
not
think it's
in
pretty
here.
similar. Diego's power is that he can throw things very accurately. He can like bend it and like hit
So bend it like Beckham.
basically, but with his hands.
Oh, like the in Wanted,
So whenever
when
he,
the bullet.
yeah,
is like-
whenever he
okay.
throws a knife, it can like hit whatever he wants it to hit.
Well, that's lame.
so
So he's like lame Gambit.
Gambit he uses kinetic energy
I know,
to charge up playing cards.
But, right,
Your
but
nerd
Gambit's
is
way
showing.
cooler than.
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things,
Diego.
his power is not like super great.
Talking about Diego, it was super subtle, but I read like on Interesting Facts, he only has one eye. One of his eyes is out. It's his right eye.
Did you just hold it upside down?
I just thought
Wait,
that was
what
an art
page is
style
that?
choice.
See, look, it's dark, but if you go and look through, they had to get the
Oh.
artist to go and black out his right eye a lot because the artist kept forgetting. But
Wait,
That
nuh-uh.
says Gambit's
Look, is that
later.
Diego?
yeah. Oh, see, they
He's
forgot
He's
that
got
one.
2 eyeballs.
Hey.
Oh.
Uncalled for.
Plot hole. On page. These pages aren't numbered.
So
That bugged me too because I was like, oh cool. Well, I'll reference some pages during a discussion.
He's
Sorry,
got
guys.
2 eyeballs in this frame.
So yeah, Diego has the knife thing,
yeah,
and then number 1, Space Boy, is like part ape,
I think he's just super strong.
and he's a
right?
leader.
That's not a
Yeah,
power.
he's a leader.
Yeah.
Not a power.
Number 3, the rumor. We already covered that. Are y'all comfortable with the rumor?
Yeah, she talks. you
No,
listen.
but yeah.
She has to say,
She's
I
very-
heard a rumor, and then whatever she says afterwards is true to whoever or whatever she says it to.
Yeah.
It's like Would
I'm
You
gonna start
Kindly
doing
from
that.
Bioshock.
Number
Whole other thing, sorry.
Number 4, the seance. Klaus has telekinesis powers.
And he
And he's the
can-
one that caught the comet, right?
yes. Well, no, he
He stopped it
he stopped it.
Well,
with his telekinetic.
yeah.
Telekinetic, but he can also conjure the dead, right?
Ew.
Yes, because he brought back the dad. Well, he didn't bring back the dad.
Not like
he was
in
acting-
Vinsky back.
Not as like
Yeah, he
zombies,
brought
but
others
as like
back.
ghosts.
Yeah.
Did he bring back Pogo?
Also, no.
he has to find them.
It's a ghost that he can't bring them back to life.
Yeah.
But then also in one of the short stories, he was able to like go over Rumor's corpse and know that it was actually her. Like he read her what was left of her.
Yeah.
So I mean that's another aspect of it. But I also read that the short stories might not necessarily
Those
have
were
anything
like
to do
concept
with
short stories, like before the first.
I didn't
one.
even read them. I hit the end and I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh, my
done.
favorite line was in one of them though. But we'll get back to that. Number 5, the boy. We don't have a name for him, which is really interesting. And
Yeah.
he can travel in time, but if he goes too far forward, he can't come back.
Right.
And he's also a psychotic murderer?
Well, he was alone on Earth for like 50 years, so
I did
Feels like
like
you're making
that he was in love with the statue, like the half woman statue,
watch
and he's
the
like,
show.
I did it, Dolores.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Watch the show.
Definitely watch the
Wow.
show.
It's
That
better
was-
in the
that was
show.
pretty good.
And
But
number
yeah,
7, Vanya. Nothing special.
nothing special until
Oh, sorry, I missed. Number 6, the horror Ben. Something about
Who died?
tentacles.
tentacles can come out of his chest.
And dead, yes.
Yeah, I cared a lot about that character.
So anyway, so
Ew, he stuck his hand through his brain. Like, you can't tell me that kid doesn't need so much therapy.
Oh, he
well,
does.
and, you know, he looks like a kid, but mentally he's like 80. So like, because he's actually an old man.
He was alone for 50 years.
And when he traveled back in time, he de-aged. So he was like an old man in the future. He like aged like 80 years and then traveled back, and that de-aged him physically, but mentally he's still like
But then
an
how
old
come
man.
he's not aging anymore?
That's part of the thing. I don't know.
It said in there, I think, where it was like his cells aren't dying or regenerating. He's just in a
Right.
state of stasis or something
No, that's what I'm
like
saying,
that.
but why is
time for him
why?
is frozen.
Well, Talia,
I have so
do you want to
many-
talk
You've gotta
in depth
read
about
more
time
books.
travel?
This feels like a trick.
So anyway,
It was a
okay,
trick.
and then Vanya goes back and accepts.
well,
her
we
role.
didn't talk about when she went and confronted like
Oh,
Diego
right,
was
that's
like,
where we were.
get away from me. Like, how could you come back? You know, Vanya also wrote a book, and this wasn't really established, but Vanya wrote a book about like it was like an expose,
Extraordinary.
tell all about like the Umbrella Academy, and I don't think they took too kindly to that.
Yeah.
So Diego's releasing some pent up anger and unreturned romantic feelings.
Wait, really
We
quick.
are doing this
Matt
show.
Scalise said, "Can we just do a show where Adam explains a comic until it makes Talia mad?"
That's what we're doing.
This is that show.
Well, I think it's working. People are enjoying it, or at
Okay,
least
good.
Matt is.
Also, will someone comment and tell me? I see in the back that it talks about volume 1, 2, and 3. Is that it? Are there only the 3
I think they're
volumes?
still. Are they still writing them? Do y'all know?
This says volume 3 coming summer of 2019. So
Okay, then yeah, they're still.
That's recent
Still a
then.
thing.
See, I have no problem with passion projects.
I don't wanna
and when
read
you
the
have
rest of
money
them unless
already
I
and you
know
can
I'm
make
gonna get
whatever
some
you want,
answers.
this is what happens.
Just watch the
I
show.
feel.
This is using that My Chemical Romance money. So anyway, so Diego kicks Vanya away. He's like, get away from it.
And Leah and Mott had a really good thing on Facebook where she said that Vanya goes to tell her family that the end of the world is happening and she knows who's doing it, and then Diego tells her to go away, and instead of finding any of her other siblings, she does and goes and joins the murderers who have already like very clearly stated that they're murderers, and she's fine with it.
Yeah. She's like, well, my family has told me I'm not special too many times.
So end of the world.
Let's go destroy everything.
That's why she was not likable. That was my thing. None of these people were likable to me, except for Pogo, who Vanya
Pogo.
blew
Well,
that's
his
the
brains
thing.
out with a violin.
They could have
like-
been. Like, Vanya's story is tragic. That could have been, like, conveyed.
Just watch the show.
Just
watch the show.
Her, like, the thing, being told that you're not special. And it was a really sweet moment when they did the flashback of Vanya as a kid, and Pogo's like, you are special.
Yeah, and then
Why did she violin his brains out?
That was my big
I don't
problem.
understand. If he was the nice one, what is wrong with her?
Yeah, that ruined, because that was like the one nice moment that I liked, and I was like, you.
No, don't you say it.
Jerk.
You're done.
Jerk.
I didn't say anything.
Leanne just tuned in. We just quoted you a little bit. Hey, Leanne. Okay, so Vanya went and joins the orchestra.
Of
They
murder.
tie her down and start doing some injection
Make her like
stuff.
half violin.
I don't know what sort of science they're using there.
It made me think
Weird
of Deadpool.
science.
Kind of Deadpool.
When they're doing all those experiments to like
Yeah.
awaken that mutant gene or whatever.
But Vanya. Yeah, I guess they had to like bring out her abilities, and so she turns into the white violin,
Which is a weird power.
and she.
I will
can-
say she had the best character design.
the naked lady.
I agree with you.
No, it's just the best
It looks
character.
good,
What do you want,
yeah.
Monkey Man or the kid? Like, no, like she had a cool power, and like she
I
could
don't think
blow
she has
people's
blood.
brains.
She was
out.
very, very powerful.
She
Like,
was very
Yeah.
powerful.
Once she,
and
like-
like when she played, like
It's
It's
a
just a
super
cool
cool
design.
power. Like you play a note on a violin and someone hears the
explodes.
word shrip,
Shrips.
shrips in half and then thumps on the floor. That was actually, I like that part, all the
Thump,
sounds.
thump, thump on
Okay.
the floor.
Well, and then after Vanya's transformation, we get the random diner scene.
oh yeah, with
Where
number
the
5 and
three-
Pogo.
People in like gas masks and uniforms follow or come up behind Pogo and the boy, and then the boy.
But they're specifically
Murders
looking
them.
for him.
Yeah,
So that's just something that like you'll have to wait and see what happens.
yeah, that's coming back, probably.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm.
Just
I
watch
mean,
the show.
Y'all are checked out. It's
I
fine.
do. Okay, I will say. No,
that in
I'm
the
not
show?
checked out. Like I do want to.
Yeah,
I do want to watch the show because I have heard good things, and
It's
I think.
really good.
Yeah. I
Here's
just-
another sound that's fun. This one just says shack.
Shaq
I don't know
food.
what.
Did you have anything else? Were you in the middle of something? Okay.
No.
He's
And
just
then
pooping on it.
last is Vanya's concert
Uh,
after the diner.
after that is we go
pretty
straight
much,
to the concert
Pretty much the concert.
where they team up.
Well, I guess I did skip where she goes and destroys Pogo.
Oh yeah, she goes to the mansion
and destroys
she's
it.
like, "Let
yeah.
me knock," and she plays a note, and the whole thing explodes. That's awesome.
That's where I will say. That's where I started to get really interested. But that's because the one character that I had one tiny thread of emotional bond to because of those couple panels about you are special and you are in your own right. That's when I was like, no, now I want to finish this. But it was the end of the 5th issue, so
And she sliced her own
Ugh.
sister's throat
Yeah.
open.
Well, her sister was about to rumor her.
Yeah.
So-
That was self-defense.
Yeah.
Ew. I.
Yeah.
Well, but then what? The boy shoots his sister in the back of the head.
She exploded Pogo the monkey.
I mean,
and
she
he
was about
the only one
to
I
destroy the
liked.
whole world.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So that is
also self-defense.
and everyone's self-defense.
yeah. Yeah.
But were they playing the Rite of Spring?
yes. Did you see? It was the actual notation.
Huh.
Music nerd for the win.
which,
Wait, where?
That's
No, I hate
I mean-
20th century music.
The Rite of Spring
Okay,
though.
but you knew what it was.
I know what
Maybe
the
it's
Rite
like
of
all
Spring
this
is.
stuff.
we got like some music people here, but wasn't the Rite of Spring like notorious for causing riots or something? Yeah. So
Well,
like,
it was
What?
It
That's
was
cool.
it was
What?
so
Why?
yeah. I mean, it was avant-garde and ahead of its time, and also it was Stravinsky and yeah.
I love that detail. I'm super
No, I think it was
impressed.
cool, and I thought it was cool how they actually had
See,
the notation.
now I feel like I'm
and
actually
stuff like
learning
that.
things.
And I just don't like. Anyway, that's
so
Yeah.
it's interesting that the Rite of Spring played in a certain tempo or whatever would be the thing to bring about the end of the world, but and it did. I mean, that escalated quickly. It went from. I mean, and I do feel like so we can talk about like the climax of Vanya fighting her family and causing the end of the world. I would say that she went pretty easy on her family. Like she wanted to end the Umbrella Academy. She could have ripped Diego in half with a single note, but instead she played a note and he just flew back
Yeah.
into the wall.
Oh, I forgot. She not dead.
And she
No.
and she she slashed the rumor's throat. But we know that she is very capable of just with one note shripping people in half.
Shripping. I like that.
Yeah. So
Swamp.
like so she went easy on that, but then like talk about the escalation of the end of the world. Like the piece got to the finale or whatever, and all of a sudden like asteroids are coming down.
That was so random. Like,
Why?
My problem
Where'd
with
it come from?
the whole ending is.
I mean, I guess they kind of.
it was just over way too fast.
The
I mean,
whole
it was.
thing was way too.
It was.
thing
I
was
mean,
very
but it
fast.
was like 2 pages, and then all of a sudden it's like, homeboy's catching the moon rock.
With his
and
hello
We're
hand.
good. Okay, let's wrap this thing up and get
One
to
hand
the concept
says hello
art.
and the other hand says goodbye, right?
Yeah.
Palm tattoos are very hard to heal.
Well,
the
you know,
way.
they have chimpanzee police officers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's because your skin there shit. That's not the point. This is not the discussion. Sorry.
so they confront Vanya. Nobody dies, like of the main people.
Yeah. Except for Pogo.
Except for Pogo, but like in the climax, I'm talking about in the climax itself when they're fighting in the orchestra. Like Vanya doesn't die, the rumor doesn't die, the Umbrella Academy is still whole as it was
technically?
without Ben.
Even if they're not together, yeah.
So they saved her, and then the main story just ends with them being like, we got to rebuild the mansion, and Diego and Space Boy have a moment where they're not trying to kill each other.
And I do want to point out that the Eiffel Tower falls onto the ruins of the mansion because that was hilarious to me.
Oh, it did? I didn't even
Yeah.
catch that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
that was one thing that I did notice.
They even said like that's ironic.
How is it ironic?
Oh, that is the Eiffel
you
Tower.
think?
I just thought it was a bunch of ruin.
A little too ironic.
There it is to the art
That's
style.
what they did say. They said this was, of course,
it really
ironic, and I didn't get how it was ironic.
Because I saved the Eiffel
rain
Tower.
on your wedding day.
No, that is not irony. We've had this conversation before, and
It's a
that's
free
all.
ride when
It's
you're already
like
late.
10,000 spoons when I use a knife.
No.
Okay, let's take some comments.
Yes, let's
Yeah,
find
so
out
sorry
what
guys.
all
So
of y'all are
our
saying.
comment picker is. I'm not even going to get into the technicalities because Adam's going to think I did something wrong, but I didn't. It's being really goofy. So you have not seen our comments at the bottom, and that's just part of doing a live show. So y'all scroll
This is
through,
gonna
and
be
if you
so
have something you want to
So
discuss,
here's a
go ahead
question
and
from Joey.
chime back in.
He says, didn't they mention when they were changing Vanya that her father did experiments on the kids? Did they? They did. He
I
says
think
yes.
so.
When they were changing her?
When they were like injecting her with
Well,
all
yeah,
the stuff.
he had like a book, and it looked like it might be a journal or something, and he said like, you're the most dangerous one, but I wasn't sure if they were talking about like now with the music.
So that's interesting because, you know, he had the lab where he was making pogos with the monocle.
Hargreaves ran extensive experiments on all of you while you slept.
Yeah.
That's being a bad parent.
He
And
was
apparently,
not a
you're
bad-
the most dangerous one.
Yeah, so that's really interesting.
But he
Yeah.
always told her that she wasn't special. Why?
Well, and I wonder
Why would he do that?
how much of her powers is something that he did, the composer did, or how much of it was something that she already had inside of her?
Yeah,
He
that's true.
electrocuted her, and all these music notes came out.
Yeah. So
That's the
there's a
best
lot
form.
of questions
That's the best
there.
form of electrocution. It's harmonizing.
So Mike Cornelison on YouTube said, how do each of you feel about comics in general? I feel like you have to have the right mindset to enjoy a comic, which I haven't been able to develop myself.
That's a good question. Thank you for asking, Mike.
I have a
So,
thought on it.
contrary to what y'all might think, I actually don't read a lot of comic books. Some chuckles in there. I actually don't. Like, I'd read almost no comic books.
You've read some of the X-Men comics, so
Yeah.
because I got you them.
That's true. I've read some X-Men. But, you know, I've never been a big comic book guy, mostly because I don't know how to get into it. Because there's
Yeah.
you know, where do you start with comic books? There's like 10,000 different
especially if you're doing, like,
storylines
Marvel
and like
or-
characters and events and things like that. I'd like to, but I just can't. So like going from reading books to reading this particular graphic novel was like a major adjustment for me. And yes, I agree. You do have to get in the headspace to read this kind of stuff. But like, you know, the pacing was like breakneck for me. And I missed a lot of that like slower expositional stuff. But like Christy, I know you read like The Walking Dead and stuff.
I
and,
might
like,
be the biggest comic reader of the four of us.
surprise.
You're the biggest everything reader of all of us.
Surprise!
So talk about talk about your thing about like having read comic books and like how this relates and all
Yeah,
that
so
stuff.
I read a lot of comic books. I read, like you said, The Walking Dead, and then I used to read a lot of manga, so I'm pretty experienced with comics. I had never read Umbrella Academy, but this took me a while to get into, like, because of the pacing was really fast, and like I had to get used to not knowing anything, like, because they do keep a lot of information from me, but I ended up liking it. I mean, I have some complaints, but I'm gonna keep going because
I do want to keep reading
Yeah.
just because I'm frustrated by my lack of knowledge concerning this, and I don't want to give up.
just watch the show.
Okay. But I will say, so on par with this is the first graphic novel that I have read in its entirety. And something that I struggled with is I realized I was like, my brain doesn't process. I need to know the order. Like with a real book, I know I start right here and I follow the line, and then I go up here and I follow the line. My brain knows exactly what to do. And when I open this, my happy squirrel brain goes, look at all the pictures. And I look at all of it in whatever order, whichever is brightest and shiniest comes to my face
I don't
first.
have a squirrel brain.
And like I would look at the things and then I'd be like, oh wait, I have to read. I have to start in this corner and I have to follow it. But it would happen every time I turned the page. I'd be like, ooh, pictures. And then I would be like, oh wait, I have to start here and then go this way. And then I would look at each frame and be like, is it all in the word? Like, do I have to examine every tiny little frame to capture, like, are there hidden things that are happening, like, in the little things? And then I stare at it forever and be like, is that important? Who is that? All their faces look exactly the same.
Yeah, there was definitely an eye trace issue with this book.
Yeah.
Like,
I think, and I don't think it's like that with normal comic books. But like you said, I had a hard time figuring out like where my eyes should go. Like,
Well-
what was the next thing?
And if there were a couple of people in the same panel and there were several word bubbles, like I didn't do it in the right order sometimes. I had to go back and figure out what went right in the conversation.
Yeah, sometimes they go like this, and then sometimes they're in.
Yeah, sometimes it's like this.
There's a little
How do I
art.
know which direction to go?
Yeah.
There's no arrows.
Well, maybe that's just experience, but I did have problems with that too.
Yeah, and I think, you know, like
She has
there are people
turtles.
that are chiming in and saying that, like, you know, there were some issues with like following this. Just to backtrack just a little bit to talk about Vanya again. Leanne, they're saying that like the powers were inside of her and they just sort of unlocked it because the dad was trying to suppress it because I guess he knew that she was the most powerful and he was like, ugh. Maybe you should not be special because you'll
Or
kill us
maybe
all.
he should have loved her and she wouldn't have wanted to end the world.
I mean, it's a very dysfunctional family.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes, it is.
But
Ew.
yeah, no, like, but Lucas, you read comics?
I was big into comics in middle school to a degree, like when Jim Lee was doing Spider-Man and X-Men got re-released.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was big into X-Men, Spider-Man. I liked Spider-Man 2099. That's kind of an obscure
I don't know
one,
what
but
that means.
it's one of the best Spider-Man costumes out there if you've never seen it. But no, I'm not a comic book guy now necessarily. But I always when I'm at a bookstore like Second and Charles and I walk by all the comic sections, especially with the collected stuff, I want to be that guy because it's like, oh, look at all that cool stuff. but it's just not something that I would gravitate to. Not saying. Christy, turn the volume down.
See, are you watching?
But
Netflix?
I would be interested, and I think it'd be worth a poll.
You just keep talking.
To see, whether you guys would like to maybe throw in a graphic novel every couple of months, because I think it is fun. And honestly, I did not vote for this one. I voted for what's the one?
Saga?
I voted for Saga.
I did.
Or
too.
however it's pronounced.
I did buy it anyway.
But,
I'm gonna read that next.
And I bought the Wool graphic novel because I really want to read that. But
The Wool graphic novel.
no, it's not something that I'm into. I don't have any shelves stocked. I would not do it digitally. I would want to have the physical media.
See, I
Well,
want.
someone did say that it's easy, like if you read it on your phone, that you swipe panel to panel.
Oh, it
and
actually like
ma-
animates and stuff too.
What?
Some things, yeah.
That would be
might have
helpful.
been so much cooler.
Jeff, don't some of the like digitized comics? I mean, they'll like do pop-ins and stuff, right?
Mostly in Comixology, they've got it broken down so you can swipe from panel to panel.
Okay, Jeff's
that's
I
saying
feel
you
like
can
that
swipe
would have
from panel
helped
to
because then
panel.
at least my brain would have been like, okay, order.
That would have been nice. I mean, see, I want to get into it. I think I like, comic books and superheroes and like these kinds of stories and graphic novels and stuff. But yeah, like maybe I need to hit you up, Dan, and you can get me into the world of comics, and then we could do another book club for comic books. And
That would be honestly, or I think maybe doing this every couple of months with a graphic novel is kind of a good fun shake-up, because I know so many of us get reading
Bogged
book after
down.
book can be kind of tough to keep up with, or you may want to veer off and actually read the second of a series like with the Silo series with Wool and Shift and Dust. So I think these are good kind of catch-up months, and that's why we chose this for December, because it's such a weird month. Everyone's so busy, and I think, look, I know I came across harsh. I didn't totally hate it, but there was just a lot of stuff that I wish. I don't know. I think in the end, not knowing the characters' names through most of the story just really disconnected me, and I just didn't feel invested. Yeah.
Like,
I would have had the same. I would have had the same experience had I not watched the show first.
And let me be clear, I know I've been really emphatic about some stuff. I didn't hate this. I'm just super confused by it, and I get very frustrated with myself when I don't understand things, and that when things confuse me. So any frustration that I am emoting right now, which is like a lot of it, is not with this. It's that it was frustration with my inability to fully process what was happening in this.
Yeah, and I think we've gotten so spoiled too with some of how, at least not within comics necessarily, but with how superheroes are introduced to us now, and how Marvel's done such a good job of layering in that.
Spoon feed it to
They
us
kind,
like
yeah, they
dumb
layer in
babies.
that
I
B
love
tier
it.
character.
I'm a dumb
And
baby.
you kind of get to know them through the course of this one movie that's more about this main character, and then all of a sudden they make the shift, and you're like, wow, I care about Ant-Man all of a sudden. You're like, Ant-Man was super lame before, but now
to
I
be
love
fair,
Ant-Man. So, I think that's what you didn't get with this, is you didn't get that kind of massaging of an introduction to the characters.
Thank you, Leanne, for loving my sweater.
Well, I would love it if they had actually focused more on them growing up and being trained and all of the history in the back. I feel like that would have helped connect with the characters, just to know who they are. Because the author went into the story having a very, very specific and clear idea of all of these characters, and it was a really complex idea. And we're getting like bits of it, but it's just not enough.
So here's the thing, like I want to continue reading the series, just for the hope that like
It gets better.
well, it gets better, but like so there are enough things that I liked about it, like the sense of humor and like the bizarre world, and I like talking about like who the characters are and their dynamics and their relationships and like their stories. There's enough there that I think it's interesting, and watching the show goes to show that like you can tell the story in a good way. So like I want all the things that I like, and then I just want it to like settle and congeal and like become more coherent and like something that I can invest in. That's where I'm hoping it gets to, and I'm sure we've had some people that have moved on. Leanne says it gets better. So there's hope, and I don't want to lose hope because there's enough nuggets there that got me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm just incredibly relieved to see that so many others of you were also confused. So that's what this group is for, so that we can all be confused together and give one another comfort in the sense that we are not alone in our confusion.
Speaking about the humor you mentioned, my favorite part, the little part that made me laugh out loud the hardest, was in one of the short stories where Rumor dies. And then in one panel,
She didn't actually die though, right?
it's her body. It's just another version of her body, but it is actually her.
Okay, that confused me.
Where?
But they're trying to figure out who did it, and they're like, because we need to know whoever killed, or we need whoever killed you to squirm. They're not just going to come out and brag about it. And the very next panel, he's on a freaking talk show, and he says, so then I killed her.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know
What is the talk show name? Lucifer?
Lucifer Clark show. And I think there's like a villain award show because he like won an award for being a villain that they mentioned too. But I just really enjoyed that short story actually.
Yeah, it was.
Didn't read the
It was
short
really funny.
stories.
Oh, there's two of them.
Yeah,
I just
gave
now
The
that-
first one
noticed-
is super short.
Yeah.
It's like a thing between Klaus and.
And it was like a teaser to like promote the Umbrella Academy, and they're kind of separate
what?
from the actual.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like,
Story.
concept
because
art.
the second
kind of
one,
book.
the second short story, with the little humor bit at the end is like, some of these characters may or may not be alive in the next thing. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll read those later.
But yeah, no, that was
Just a
that was
quick-
hilarious, and that's where like I love the humor.
Yeah.
Like the humor gets me. We get each other.
Dan said he read one short story and decided that was enough.
But yeah, no.
I like the humor, but I wanted it to be a little bit more overt and more, because it's like I felt like they pushed it to a point, but then they would back off to a
Yeah.
degree, and so it's like I don't know.
It's a weird
to me. It
balance.
lost its identity.
Yeah,
little
I mean,
bit.
it is a weird balance between like humor and comedy and like trying to tell these like this what is a pretty tragic story of these children who were basically abused by their adopted father.
After being squirted into existence out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It is gross. It is gross, Christy.
But you know, it's like, you know, a really like dysfunctional X-Men family, and you know, where there is like, I mean, we talked a little bit about the romantic relationships at first, but you know, it's weird that like Rumor and Space Boy are kissing, and that Vanya and
It's real
Diego
weird.
had, you know, Diego had a unreturned crush on Vanya, and
Ew.
What? I missed
What?
that completely.
Where?
what? You didn't get that?
I didn't get that
No.
at all.
Where's? Let me see.
When
let me see
there
that.
was something about love, I thought it was like because it's your sister,
Diego and Vanya. Diego loved Vanya.
like sister.
You're getting some nods in the audience.
Y'all got that right? That's pretty obvious.
At least one other person got it.
Ew.
Because they even said, like, Spaceboy even said to Diego, like, something about, like,
I completely missed this.
No, these are not the colors.
that's why he
It's like-
freezes at the
no.
end when she says,
Is that why she didn't kill him?
well,
Do you think?
it's possible, but, you know, he approaches her at the end, and he's about to kill her, and he says, I'm stopping you from doing something stupid. Tell me why I shouldn't slit your throat. And she looks at him and she says, because I love you. And he gets that, like,
brother.
look on his face.
Where?
But
What
before
page?
that,
There's no
there's
What
no page
page is
numbers.
It's at the end at the concert
when she's all white.
when he's about to slit her throat. Yeah.
I gotta find the thing between. Let me find it. I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Get back to us.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talking. I don't understand this part.
But everybody else got that right.
No.
I don't know. It was
Okay.
confusing, and it
It's
all
Listen,
happened so fast.
Here we go. So Diego is talking about. They're talking about Hargreaves. And
found
Spaceboy
it.
says, "Still mad at the world because father didn't love you." And Diego says, "He didn't love any of us, but you're still trying to impress him after we just put him in the ground." And then he says, I guess you're right." Oh no, this is Spaceboy saying, "I guess you're right. He didn't love me, but I haven't spent my life pretending he did, like you have with Vanya." And I'm like, And then there's actually a moment of silence between everybody, and like where no words are said for like
Completely
3
missed
panels.
that.
I don't like it.
But yeah,
Granted, I never really got into Game of Thrones, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have liked that either. It's squicky.
squicky.
I did write in my sticky note space/rumor kiss ... WTH. Because he's just like, oh, your daughter's name's Claire. And then she's like kissing him. And I'm like, that's
he's
an awkward escalation to that.
he seems to be hung up on the fact that she moved on. She had like a family, and like I don't know what the situation between her and her family is. They're clearly like not on good terms. But talking about Rumor's daughter, and then Rumor seduces him.
He's also just, maybe he's struggling with the fact that he's a human head on a gigantic ape body in a diaper with cords going into his crotch.
Maybe she wants to change
Why are
that
they
diaper.
going there, by the way? I don't know if anyone else
I am
noticed
not
that
familiar
in
with the science behind what happens.
The what?
There's the blue cord goes...
There's a different blue cord. That's what I'm going with. It's a different blue cord.
Why are there 2 that go right there? Does he pee in his monkey diaper?
Yes, and then that
Yeah.
goes into his stomach. And so it's just
Look.
a constant churn.
Maybe it's explained later. I don't know.
Look, it's like initially, it's like, look, here's...
So,
Yeah, no, I see it.
Talia, there's a lot of people commenting that
Oh.
you should probably stop asking so many questions. I didn't.
Okay.
You can still ask questions, just like you're not going to get answers to all of them, unfortunately.
Yep.
Ignorance is not bliss, and if you don't ask questions in life, then you learn nothing.
Are you learning?
I think in this
things?
case you won't learn anything.
I will when I Google everything later.
Yeah, Google why does Spaceboy have hoses going into his crotch and see what you get.
You might actually get something, though, Adam. You might.
What's his name again? Monkey guy?
To be fair, there's also people
Space
saying
Boy.
that you're basically reading their minds. So, double-edged sword here.
And Jeff did say it's just for aesthetics, some of it, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Gotta
read
take-
too much into some of this stuff.
Aesthetically pleasing, like all of the cords go straight to his monkey penis? I don't think so. Why? It's a diaper.
That's not.
Well, he's
That's not
on
where that is.
space. Maybe it's to give him, or maybe it converts into oxygen or something.
From his crotch?
Look, the science in this book is very advanced. We have
I've never met anyone who breathes from there.
No, listen though. What did he created the flying belts. He created the door, the elevator that like
The televator.
teleports. Yeah.
Okay, but those things make sense to me. Flying somewhere, levitating, an elevator.
You're cherry picking what makes sense here.
If they can do those things though, they should be able to convert human waste or monkey waste into oxygen.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Well, I'm trying to answer your questions.
Wait, what was I Googling? Oh, I put Space Boy Monkey Man. Diaper tubes. Let's see what comes up.
Yeah, we have definitely
Maybe a little.
digressed here.
Hey, we should talk about the alternative to the Mostly Mystery Box this month,
To share the love
right?
Oh.
initiative.
In the spirit of the holidays, and because we only had one live discussion this month, we're not doing a Mostly Mystery Box. Sorry. But what we are
In the spirit of the holidays, we're not giving anything away. Happy holidays.
instead of just one person getting the prize all to themselves, we've decided to pick a few of you, and you all get a fun little nifty gifty in the mail
Yeah,
when
so
we send it.
make sure you comment at
Yes.
least something.
If you've been watching this whole time, 1, I'm sorry, and 2, just say hi. Just comment monkey diaper, and we'll know that you were here, and you are entered in to win a fun little holiday gift that we'll send your way. What's it going to be? I don't know yet, but it'll be cool.
It's a mystery, mostly.
And it definitely won't be the next book
No.
because it won't get there in time for you to read it. But it'll be something cool.
Speaking of the next book, we all know what it is, right? I mean, if you've looked at the poll, and we'll release the official announcement video later this week, congratulations to Red Rising. by Pierce Brown,
Yay.
which we will be reading. Oh my gosh, next month is January.
Yep.
We'll
in
be reading
January.
that next year.
Wow.
I don't feel bad about it. I don't regret it. All right, final thoughts. Final thoughts on this very, very interesting brand new thing that we attempted this month.
Final thoughts for me. I'm open-minded about it. I'm not so turned off by the fact that there was no exposition, that sometimes the art style made it impossible to tell who was who, that sometimes I didn't even know where to look in the page. Maybe I am. No. I want the next one, and I want to try reading it. Watch the show. It's gonna make a difference, but I'm interested. I'll keep reading.
Yeah. And I'm glad we did this. I enjoyed doing a graphic novel, and not all are the same. So, I mean, if we do this again, we'll try another series, and maybe more people will like it.
Yeah, y'all voted for this, by the way. Just, we didn't pick this.
You did this to
Yeah.
yourself and to me.
Yeah, we have to say that. Every time you hate something, you pick this.
I actually found a Google result, although it does say missing and it's crossed out the word diaper. Apparently the cold water in the tubes, it's cold water to keep the body temperature down.
So it's pee.
There you go. Makes sense. Problem solved.
I'll post that link in the group later. Speaking of the group, if you're not in the group, hey, we have a group. It's on Facebook, and it's called the Literarily Wasted Lounge, and we talk about all the things all the time, not just our live discussions. You can chat with everyone in the group, including us, on the internet, because we're always there
Final thoughts?
all the time. I don't have any. I feel like I expressed them enough.
I will say I'm very glad that we experimented, and I want to thank everybody for being open to a graphic novel, just because it fit my schedule so much better. I've read this on my break at work today during lunch, so that was nice to be able to still participate. And I know a lot of you would like to do this in the future, and I will say I am intrigued by the story. I do want to watch the show and see if the show helps me maybe bridge the gap to reading the second volume. So I'm not totally opposed to it, but I definitely, after hearing Adam and Christy's feedback on the show, I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, and everyone should watch the show. It's really good. And it's very different.
Watch the show over holiday break. We can talk about it in the group. Yeah. Kira also mentions, hi Kira on Facebook, she says she enjoyed this, but the story could have been a bit stronger by slowing down the pace and giving a little bit more background. Regardless, she's looking forward to reading the next ones and watching the show, and reading the graphic novel was nice because the last few months have been very hectic and she was able to read this fast. Yes, life is bananas, no monkey pun intended, and sometimes you just need a break. And this was, I will say, it was a really nice break to not have to stress this month about when I was going to read the book. I read it in like an hour the other night, and maybe I should have taken longer and read it longer. I don't know, but maybe that was part of my problem. But either way, I am glad to have read it, and I am going to continue reading it because I need more answers. And I'm going to watch the show. So just a reminder, thank you everyone for joining us. If you haven't submitted a comment during this discussion, do it now so you could win a thing. And follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Be our friend on Facebook. Follow the page. Join the group. Find us on YouTube. We're on all of the things.
We have a website.
And we have a website called literarillywasted.club. Because we're a book club, get it? Mm-hmm. I think that's it.
Also, thank you to Second and Charles for hosting us and providing the prizes.
Yeah, don't forget, you can still get Umbrella Academy until the end of the month for 20% off, and you'll be able to get Red Rising for 20% off, and that's pretty awesome. So thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a really happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
And a Happy New Year.
Oh yeah, do that too. We'll see.
Yay! And we've
All
got
the
more content
celebrations.
coming.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we've
More
got some
content.
fun stuff coming.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. We'll get there.
We might have technically filmed another Cooking the Book. I have not edited it yet. but it exists. And that might be a fun thing for y'all to watch while you're, hiding from your family over the holidays. No? Is that just me?
Bye, everybody. Have a
See
great
you
night.
next time.
Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Happy New